I am 60 years old. The Armed Forces says I'm too old to track down terrorists. The rule says that you have to be under 42 years of age to join the military. Well, I think they got that ass backwards. I think that instead of sending 18-year-olds, they should be sending people like me to fight. In fact, you should have to be at least 42 years old to join the Armed Forces. Well, for starters, researchers say that 18-year-olds think about sex every 10 seconds. Damn. I mean, guys my age are lucky to think about it once a day. And besides, 18-year-olds haven't lived long enough to be cranky. And a cranky soldier is a dangerous soldier. I'm tired. I'm hungry. My leg hurts. We're impatient, damn it. And maybe, just maybe, letting us shoot a few assholes who desperately have it coming might make us feel better. And 18-year-olds, you know, they don't even like to get up until 10 a.m. Us old-timers, we're up early to pee anyway, so what the hell? As long as we're up, we might as well be killing some fanatical sons of bitches, don't you think? And you wouldn't have to worry about us spilling the beans if we were captured. We'd have forgotten where we put them. Name-ranking serial numbers are brain teaser for guys like me. And boot camp would be a lot easier for us old-timers. I mean, like I said, we're up early anyway. We're used to having people yell at us to get our attention. And we sure as hell know about eating terrible-tasting food. And they could go easy on the obstacle course, though, huh? I mean, I've been in combat, and I've never seen a 20-foot wall with a rope hanging over the side, and 10 guys lined up to do push-ups. And as for the running, I've never seen anyone outrun a bullet. I mean, 18-year-olds have their whole world in front of them. They're still learning how to shave, still learning how to flirt with a pretty girl, still learning that a baseball cap has a brim to shade their eyes, not the back of their necks. What the hell's up with that anyway? I mean, let's let our young people get a chance to live their lives before we put them in harm's way, huh? Man, let's send us old-timers out to track down these bastards. I mean, the last thing an enemy would want to see is about 1 million of us old farts with bad attitudes and automatic weapons, huh? Oh, I got an idea. Let's recruit women in menopause. That's proof that war is hell.
On each patrol we take through the city, we take as many toys as will fit in our pockets, and hand them out as we can. The kids take the toys and run to show them off as if they were worth $1 million. On one such patrol, our lead security vehicle stopped in the middle of the street. This is not normal and is very unsafe. So the other vehicles began to inquire over the radio. The lead vehicle reported there was a little girl sitting in the road and said she just would not budge. So the command vehicle told the lead simply go around her. As the vehicles went around her, I soon saw her sitting there. And in her arms she was clutching a little bear that we had handed her just a few patrols back. Feeling an immediate connection to the girl, I radioed that we were going to stop. The rest of the convoy paused, and I got out to make sure she was okay. The little girl looked scared and concerned, but there was warmth in her eyes toward me. As I knelt down to talk to her, she moved over and pointed to a mine in the road. Immediately a cordon was set, and the Marine convoy assumed a defensive posture around the site. The mine was destroyed in place. It was the heart of an American that sent that toy. It was the heart of an American that gave that toy to that little girl. It was the heart of a tiny Iraqi girl that protected that convoy from that mine. It was the heart of acceptance, of tolerance, of peace and grace, even through the inconveniences of conflict, that saved that convoy from hitting that mine. She may have no affiliation at all with the United States, but she knows what it is to be brave. And if we can continue to support her and her new government, she will know what it is to be free.
I'm Dave Bichelle. Before 9/11, I was doing wireless communications sales, but always feeling that there was something missing in my life. But 9/11 changed a lot of lives and how they view lives, including me. After 9/11, I started reevaluating my priorities. I wanted to be able to help out if something bad happened on the West Coast, so I joined the National Guard. When I talked to the recruiting guy, he told me the military police company I'd be going into was getting involved in something big. But, he gave me the impression that I would be in the rear. I mean, I was totally out of shape. I had just enlisted, and the next thing you know, I was on my way to Iraq. From that point on, I tried to put on my best face. But, I had to leave my wife, my daughter, and a baby son. I went in just thinking, I'll try to be humble and respectful as much as I can be, and show the Iraqi people, we're not all warmongers, that we know that they have daughters and sons and wives and sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers too. My first 4 weeks there, we didn't have bulletproof vests, but we did raids. We kicked in doors. We were supposed to be training Iraqi police, but it was a frickin' joke. They were extremely corrupt. And the people have such a huge fear of them because under Saddam, they would take their wives and daughters and rape and murder them. We had this Iraqi police outfit that was not trained. We had someone running it who 2 weeks earlier was in the police academy. A Kmart security guard is better trained than the Iraqi police. When we first got there, we were treated like rock stars. President Bush good, Saddam bad, Saddam donkey. But at some point that all changed. They'd say, oh, we're happy you got rid of Saddam, but then ask questions like, by the way, do you support Israel? When we got to Abu Ghraib prison, we were sitting ducks. Our job was to monitor the prison walls and keep track of who came and went. But the prison was huge. It was a monster. It was a prison within a prison. The walls were falling down, trash piled up everywhere, rusty, disgusting toilets. Bugs all over the place. The odor, man, was terrible. We had bug bite competitions. Like, you show me yours and I'll show you mine. We had bug bites all over our bodies, everywhere. It was insane. And we were hot and sweating all the time. It was, there was a point to Abu Ghraib. I didn't realize it then. Man, I just started deteriorating mentally. I was like, fuck Iraq! I want to kill these motherfuckers and go home! You know? It gets to a point, man, it starts to get to you. It's like, fuck it! You know, fuck them! They don't want us here? It drove me crazy. And when you try to talk to people, they say, well, why did you enlist? What did you think would happen? They lose sight of how this war happened. You don't send troops in harm's way unless it's absolutely necessary. You shouldn't be sent away for some bullshit. People lose focus on the human component of being a soldier in harm's way. When you're told you're only going to be over there for 6 months, and it keeps getting extended, and it keeps getting extended, and you watch the death toll go up, man, it does something to you. But the hardest thing when I came home was whenever I would hear a loud noise, it would freak me out. We went to Disneyland and they had this big fireworks display. And when they started going off, I hit the floor. My daughter hit the ground too. I started looking for my weapon. I was freaked out. And then they put pressure on me to re-enlist, all of us. But man, I felt totally exploited. I was a bullet catcher. No freaking way was I going to re-enlist. I'd rather shovel cow manure. When I came back, it was obvious to me that it was amazing that anyone could support the war because they should see the coffins come back. They should see the families in tears. they lose sight of the component that we are human beings. Killing other human beings.
I had been a pediatrician back home. Over here, I work mostly with Muslim mothers whose husbands have been killed or have been taken prisoner. Here in Fallujah, with all the wounded, there's not much aid we can give to people like mothers and children who aren't hurt. Then mothers started bringing in these deformed babies. There were a lot more of them than you would expect. I didn't know what to make of it, but I had seen the same thing in Basra, and I thought it was an anomaly. But in Fallujah, it started to bother me. So I did some research, and it didn't take long to figure out what was going on. Depleted uranium. These children had been born to mothers who were contaminated by toxic levels of radiation. The US government uses it to cover all their munitions. They bomb the hell out of the ground and let the radiation kill whatever's left over. We've dropped the equivalent of 250,000 times the amount of toxic waste that we dumped on Nagasaki. But it doesn't kill or maim all at once now. The twisted babies that I saw were from the first Gulf War. The ones from this war are going to come much later. But of course, it does affect some adults quicker than others. The hell of it is, my husband and I were going to start a family as soon as I got home. How do I tell my husband I'm afraid of what we might have? These children that were born this way, it was a result of what our government did. You know, when you look at what happened over there, it's hard to believe. I've been over here for a year now. I'm a medic, and I'm in the middle of everything, and there's radiation everywhere. What if I give birth to a normal child? How long will it take for them to die of cancer or leukemia or God knows whatever else? It's a toxic mess over here, and I'm in the middle of it. Every soldier, every civilian, every ally, every damn person gets covered in it. God, what am I going to tell my husband?
My name is Tim Boggs. I'm sergeant in the Army. I'm serving on my second deployment in Iraq. When I reflect on my experiences in my first deployment, one particular story sticks out above the rest. I was stationed in southern Iraq, near the port of Qasr. We purified water, supplied fuel, and did what we could to help improve the quality of life for the soldiers there. During the summer, the temperature was excruciatingly hot, sometimes reaching upwards of 140 degrees. After I'd been there for a few weeks, I noticed that several Iraqi families had moved into the tents right next to ours. It wasn't long before some of the people in my unit began to interact with the families. We soon found out why they were living there. One of the families had helped out the military and was living there in fear of reprisals from anti-American forces. Another family was living there to escape their abusive husband and father. Several of the soldiers, including myself, became particularly fond of the kids in this family. We would give them snacks, make sure they had plenty of food and water. The longer they stayed at our base, the more they became a staple in our lives. The oldest kid learned English rapidly, albeit English taught by a bunch of soldiers. He could brighten up anyone's day with his smile, and often reminded us why exactly we were halfway across the world, fighting in a foreign land to free an entire nation from an evil tyrant, and also to help the Iraqi people lead a better life. After several months of living in a tent, we were able to move the family into one of the buildings on our small camp. The powers that be at the base found a bed for them and some small amenities, like a television and toiletries. The rest of the stuff they needed was supplied by the family back home of one woman in my unit. Their mother appreciated that we played with her kids and watched them for her from time to time. We spent a lot of time with the family and began to teach them other English. We cared about them like they were our own family. All in all, we spent a good 10 months with the family. We were sad to leave them, but grateful for the experience of not only helping them out, but forming a relationship that crossed over cultural boundaries. We could see the good changes we knew we were bringing to these people who greatly needed and appreciated our help. I will be forever grateful for the experience, and I hope that one day the kids in Iraq grow to appreciate the kindness and gentleness of American soldiers. When that time comes, I believe we will finally enjoy the fruit of our labors in the Middle East.
God bless America,
Land
that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam.
prairie